we together as a couple, we weren't resilient. And one of the factors that I think contributed, his own vetting process, because he knew that he wanted to sign up for some hardship.
So my family is both a refugee family and a military family. So when we met, I knew that I wanted to join the military.
There's a term that I really resonate with, and it's called survivance. Surviving and resistance. And we resist falling. We resist deteriorating. This podcast is about what makes us resilient, right? What makes him resilient as a veteran, and as tying me in, what has made us resilient as a couple. And I want to say off the bat that yes, we had our own hardships in life that could make us resilient, that can protect us from things that come our way. But we together as a couple, we weren't resilient. And I want to talk about how we have kind of come to find that for each other. And one of the factors that I think contributed to that is how he vetted me. His own vetting process, because he knew that he wanted to sign up for some hardship. And I think he was looking for someone who had endured some lived experience and had some hardship and knew what it might be like. And I'd love to have you talk a little bit about what it was that you found familiar in me, or what it was that you found that resonated for you in resilience or hardship or in enduring stuff like that.
Yeah, so my family is both a refugee family and a military family, going back, I've kind of looked it up, maybe 7-8 generations. Vietnam, World War I, World War II. I don't even know what's before that, but I have people in the history like 1850, and it's like Captain so-and-so.
Yeah, you've gone back.
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy. It's about multi-generational trauma, or multi-generational strength, we like to say.
I love that. Yeah.
The
strength.
And so I knew when we met in college, but I knew that I wanted to join the military, both from the family history, and then also getting there towards the end when I was graduating. September 11th happened, and today's September 11th.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Shoot.
And so we came across each other, and I was instantly in love, drawn by her eyes, and her kind heart. But I also knew, like,
what you didn't know.
Don't start a relationship. I also thought, okay, don't start a relationship with someone when you're going to go off for 5-10 years, maybe make a career out of it. I had an open mind about making a career of the military going in.
I think you told me on our second date that you wanted to join the military.
Right.
And I was like, oh no.
Right. And but one thing where I thought, okay, it's okay to pursue this. Okay, there's the initial connection, the initial puppy love, or whatever you want to call it. But okay, now let's talk seriously, right? Should we just stop this? But I saw that she was a military brat. And I think, this might resonate with some of the other military families out there, but a little controversial, but military families are a bit like refugees, a little bit. They're...
In what way?
Yeah. So, I mean, look, what's your identity? Okay, I'm American. I'm Puerto Ricano from Harlem, or whatever, right? And or maybe you're not American. You're Mexican or Mexican American, right? So, where do military families fit in? You're American, but in your case, you were born and raised in Germany. Mm-hmm. You don't look blonde and blue-eyed, so you're okay. So now you're American in the wrong country. You're military, so you're separate from the rest of the population. And you're a little too dark to fit in any of these, little circles. You're Filipino by blood. you're kind of not belonging. You're like an other.
I'm displaced.
Yeah, you're a displaced person.
Like a refugee.
Or like a refugee, and then yeah.
Yeah. And moved from place to place until you find
Right.
somewhere where you can rest a little bit more.
So I think where that was resonating with me, I mean, you can summarize it as military brat, but what resonated with me was, hey, I see somebody who's going to be able to handle moving and disconnecting and uprooting their family and then putting it somewhere else and then making connections again. And
yeah, by then that was such a norm for me. It was like I didn't even blink an eye. Like I had found my way to navigate that by the time I was, I don't know. Yeah, for sure by the time I was 18, it was like no problem if I had to get uprooted and go somewhere. And while I was hoping to get away from that and break some of those patterns of like getting uprooted and going someplace else, there was still a learned excitement about it. And I was able to grab onto an identity, not just in my own Filipino culture that my parents did a really great job of, but also military culture. That was such a huge identity. So offering that I'd still be in the military culture also provided me some comfort. And I want to go back to like the resilience part, or like what kind of makes us resilient. So you identified in me that there's some resilience that I've had in my own life. And then you know, with your own generational
like there's some kind of connection
resilience
there
and strength that's been built.
about the past and then also what was to come, knowing that I was joining the military.
Yes. And I want to say, though, it's still much different as a military child versus a military spouse. And I still don't think I was fully equipped to handle what came after deployment and coming back. And so maybe there's just a whole different kind of ball game, but at least I was somewhat familiar with it. Yes. And I think the point I want to say is that I guess even though you feel like you're...
How are we still together?
Yeah, how are we still together? I was able to pull on my own strength. I was able to find my own certainty in the uncertainty and make meaning of things and pull on spirituality. And I didn't give up on that. So every time we moved, I'd kind of be upside down again, and I'd have those same existential questions come up again. And I would not give up on trying to find that. But for us,
I think there's a sense, there's a lot of uprooting and upheaval and connection and disconnection and isolation. But given that we've made it this long, well, what are some things that maybe either growing up or through our relationship that were always stable?
In our relationship or individually?
Either one. I'm just looking for how did you survive as a child? Is there anything that you hung your hat on?
Yes, and so I want to kind of bring that in really quickly, but I don't know why, I just was always looking up to and obsessed with the Holocaust and Holocaust survivors and their stories. And I saw and read many books about that, and I would come to the conclusion that if they could do it, then so can I. And they've been able to really dig down deep and have
so kind of like role models.
Yeah, they were like role models, and I'm so inspired by their stories, every single one of them. I mean, I'd pursue even making friendships with some that were survivors just because I wanted to like pick their brain and see how they were, like some that would become painters later on in life. It's just the most beautiful thing. And it's like this will to not just survive, but to thrive. This will to also honor what they've gone through and speak about it and find joy and seek that joy and not be harmful to others like this. That's the stuff that would draw me. And I think we're moving into that, me and you. I think we're moving into that now as relationships. We didn't have that resilience at the beginning, but together through our hardship, I feel like we've found that resilience. And there's a term that I really resonate with, and it's called survivance. And it's this blend of, surviving and resistance. And we resist falling. we resist deteriorating. And we do that by continuing to survive and continuing to push through and thrive and make meaning, what we're doing right now. And I think that is something that is a not just a resilient way of looking at things, but it brings in joy and love and light despite everything that we've been through. And so